This is CBS2 News This Morning.
Right now, a wild car crash on the LIRR train tracks. How this will impact commuters this morning.
And our first alert weather team tracking a winter storm. The red alert in place today, and which areas are going to be hit the hardest.
The Kansas City Chiefs are waking up Super Bowl champs for the third time in 5 years. We are live in Las Vegas with all the highlights from the game.
I think if we go live there right now, they're probably still out and about having a great time tonight. So hopefully we can check in on that. It's an early parade. Good morning on this Monday, February 12th. I'm Chris Raggi.
I'm Mary Kelly. Welcome to CBS2 News This Morning. First alert weather team is standing by. Tony Sadiku is live on the west side. But first, let's start with John Elliott, both in the Super Bowl. I remember seeing the two of you.
That was fun. That was sure fun. I'm getting texts all night long. Hey, I just saw you in the Super Bowl. And I said, well, I did play pro ball before I went into weather. Good morning, Mary. And I wonder how many people are going to be calling out today. All right. In the city, it is quiet. It is cold. It is February. 38 is the current observation in the park with partly cloudy skies. Numbers around the area, variety. 23 in Monticello. Turn that around. You got 32 in Cranberry. See, fun with numbers. These numbers compared to yesterday, this is a really important part of the puzzle, are colder. We are going to see colder air take over. Still above normal, still dry with increasing clouds today. So far this month, every day has been above normal, some days dramatically above normal, almost 20 degrees warmer than it should have been Saturday. Hope you enjoyed it. It'll be another red box day today, but not tomorrow or Wednesday. Remember, the challenge is going to be overnight tonight into this time tomorrow morning, when the storm you see here that's bringing severe thunderstorms and potential for tornadoes to parts of the south brings the winter weather into our area. So, you know what? Savor 38 degrees. We'll talk about it. We'll talk more about timing and cold temperatures that will follow in a bit. Right now, though, right back to Chris.
John, thank you. And our morning first alert weather team will be on early duty tomorrow morning. As that snow moves through, team coverage begins at 4 a.m. tomorrow, special time.
532, trouble on the rails this morning after a car crashed through a fence and damaged some tracks on the LIRR in Suffolk County.
Overnight, some trains were canceled and there were delays. So how's it looking for the morning commute? That's the big question today. Let's get out to Elijah Westbrook live at the Wyandanch station with the latest. Elijah?
Well, Chris and Mary, the commute on the LIRR's Ronkonkoma branch just got a lot better at this hour, and that's because crews were able to restore a damaged area of tracks where that car ended up on it. I want to go ahead and show you some video of that car that we were just referencing, and you can see it was seemingly stuck on the rail bed before crews cut a hole in a nearby fence and then slowly pulled the black vehicle away from the area. You can see damage to the tracks and third rail from this incident. Trains were suspended in the area most of the night between Farmingdale and Ronkonkoma until maintenance personnel was able to get at least one track open, according to the MTA. This is a two-track area. Both are now in service, and so trains are operating on or close to schedule. The circumstances around what happened remains unclear at this time. We did reach out to Suffolk County police and fire officials, who then referred us to the MTA, which isn't saying more than what we are reporting now, but everything remains under investigation, and we hope to have an update for you in the hours ahead. But the good news at this time is that trains are operating on or close to schedule. And that is the very latest from Wyandanch, Long Island. Elijah Westbrook, CBS2 News.
And Elijah, let's get a first check on traffic right now. And Guy Stanier's very latest on what's happening this Monday morning, 5:33 right now.
Good morning, Mary. As Elijah just told us, LIRR's Ronkonkoma branch is back running on or close to schedule. However, now we have a new issue. Westbound mainline trains are skipping Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, and Woodside. This is due to a broken rail right near Forest Hills. Subways are accepting passes on the 7 line at 61st Street, Woodside. Everything else is running on or close to schedule for Metro North, PATH, and New Jersey Transit. Alternate side parking is suspended for Lincoln's birthday, but you still have to pay the meters. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Guy, thank you. A new curfew will take effect tonight at shelters around the city being used to house migrant asylum seekers.
It follows a recent shooting and a separate assault on police officers involving migrant suspects. CBS 2's Christina Fan is live in Soho with more on the new rules. Christina.
Chris and Mary, good morning. That new curfew will take effect between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. It will be impacting about 20 shelters across the city, including the Gatsby Hotel behind us, affecting about 3,600 people, a relatively small fraction of the entire city's migrant population. The new rules were announced over the weekend following a series of violent incidents involving asylum seekers that have gained national attention. They include the group assault on 2 NYPD officers in January and a shooting inside the JD Sports store in Times Square last week, where a 15-year-old suspect allegedly shot a woman and then fired at cops who were chasing him. City officials say the restrictions are in line with those already in place at the city's traditional homeless shelters and will allow for more efficient capacity management of migrants in the city's care. Now, the city already placed a curfew on 4 shelters last month, so the total number now under these new restrictions will be 24, again impacting about 3,600 migrants in the city. For now, reporting live from Soho, Christina Fan, CBS 2 News.
Christina, thank you. 5:36 from cookies to chicken. Students in New York City public schools are noticing some of their favorite foods are now gone from cafeterias.
It stems from recent budget cuts, which Mayor Adams says are a result of the city's migrant crisis. Now students are finding that their go-to options, from salads to chicken fingers and fries, are nowhere to be found and have not been replaced, meaning some kids are skipping lunch entirely.
Well, this week I haven't even picked up a lunch. There's signs around our school like try our recipes. Eat in school, it's free. What are we eating?
To say that, oh, because of the immigrants, we can't feed the kids chicken tenders, which seems to be not true. So it's infuriating. It seems like a political stunt on the backs of our children.
The city had said previously that federal money would replace the $60 million in the food budget that was slashed. But schools are already noticing the cuts. We reached down to the Department of Education and City Hall for comment, but have not yet heard back. Police investigating a robbery at a Buddhist temple in Brooklyn. Happened around 2 Sunday afternoon on 26 Rugby Road in Prospect Park South. Police say 3 men kicked in the back door, got away with an unknown amount of money and personal items from the temple. No injuries were reported.
5:37 voters are set to cast their ballots tomorrow in a special election to replace expelled Congressman George Santos. Democrat Tom Suozzi and Republican Mazi Pilip cast their ballots Friday on Long Island. Both are hoping to win over undecided voters in New York's 3rd congressional district, which covers parts of Nassau County and Queens. Yesterday marked the last day for early voting. You can find much more about the race, including a profile of each candidate, on our website, cbsnewyork.com, and look for special election coverage Tuesday on CBS 2 News beginning at 5.
It is 5:57 for you right now. Coming up, Chiefs are Super Bowl champs once again.
We are live at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas with all the highlights from the game to the halftime show. We're also, we're going to mention Beyonce and Taylor Swift. And now to meteorologist Tony Sadiku on the west side at the salt piles.
Hey there, good morning, Mary and Chris. You see the salt piled high behind me, but it doesn't really look or feel like we need it. Not a bad feel this morning. Got another mild day, but then it's all out the window as it's going to be a much different look and feel by this time tomorrow. Winter makes a comeback, so we'll track those snowfall totals. We'll time it all out for you in your first alert forecast coming up next.
And welcome back to CBS 2 News this morning on this Monday morning, the day after the Super Bowl. If you are tucked in bed still, hopefully you're having a good post game. Let's check in with our first alert team, meteorologist John Elliott and Tony Sadiku. All right, Tony standing by on the west side as we prepare for some snow tomorrow. We'll get to John in just a second, but as I mentioned, today's one of those days. It's called the big sleep-in. Everybody that post hangover from the Super Bowl. A lot of people calling in sick today, but good to see you guys are here reporting for duty. Tony, let's start with you.
Yeah, good morning, Chris, and certainly don't blame folks. It was a crazy game. It's one that kept you up late at night. If you can call out, certainly not a bad day to spend outdoors or spend indoors, getting ready for what's to come. So we're still looking at a significant event heading into tomorrow. Models still showing that rain snow line south of the city. So by this time tomorrow, there will be some impact. And yeah, we could start to see some of the snow, the salt piles in and out of here with the salt spreader trucks busy. Right now, though, no issues. You perhaps hear some of the cars out here. They're not driving through a mess. Temps out the door, upper 30s, which is, hey, still above average, a little cooler than it's been. So let's get you out the door. I know for some folks, you're not sleeping in on Super Bowl Monday. Instead, you're like, hey, I'm going to still do my morning routine, go out, do my morning walk and exercise. Let me show you what to expect out there, where, yeah, it's a little bit chilly this morning, so you are going to layer up, going to get a little bit better this afternoon, but then the clouds will start to fill in, too, as we make our way into the mid-40s. Rain chance is pretty much out of the forecast during the day today. Different story heading into the next couple of days. By the way, yeah, this is a nice feel this morning compared to what's to come. Out the door, not going to be quite as welcoming the next several mornings, especially as we usher in a colder air mass and just blustery conditions. But the big story is still the winter weather alerts. They have expanded across the region. In pink is the winter storm warning. That means winter storm conditions likely with significant snows. That's going to impact commute. Of course, lesser totals perhaps into the watch and advisory area, but still the type of snow that's going to reduce visibility and cause some major travel headaches in the days to come. So want to bring in John Elliott to talk a little bit more about this now, because we're talking significant storm. Let's talk totals and what folks can expect.
And it's interesting, Tony, some of the weather watchers north and west that are snow lovers, they definitely want to know about it. You know, you talk about numbers in and around the city for February, not bad for this time of day. Savor them in the upper 30s, some flirting with 40s, but north and west, the cold air is already filling in. So from one Tony to another, Tony wants to know, hey, how much? 4 to 12? I would take the 4 up. So again, Tony LaRufa, in fact, I'll show you his picture. Tony is a snow lover. Snow lovers, they're celebrating. But yeah, I would plan on more than 4 where you are. By the way, it's Hugging Day and Save a Penny Day in honor of Abe Lincoln's birthday. I will still pick up pennies. Let's talk about what we're looking at, though, as far as totals. And again, it's quiet right now, but this is the line. So this is basically 287, and then when you get elevation, you are going to see the exception to 12. Tony's over here. He wants 4 to 12. I would say 6 to 12. That will be the exception, not the rule. Now, for the really busy corridors through Westchester into Fairfield, North Shore right into 80, 78, you're right at that 3 to 7. And I appreciate that that is a big range. But initially you get a break. It has been so warm, it'll just be wet. But overnight, timing is not going to be the best because that cold air will allow accumulating snow. City is right on the line. City, it's going to be a split decision, 2 to 5. It's going to break up. In fact, I want to show you, you're fine through 7 o'clock tonight. So take advantage of the day today and watch what happens. Storms come up from the south, the storm. Then it meets cold air rushing in from the north. So this is overnight tonight. So initially, Monmouth, Ocean, Somerset, you're fine. Middlesex too. But then even there, you are going to see some snow. So this time tomorrow morning is going to be the most challenging time. I know what right now school officials are doing. Oh, they're doing all the calculus because the worst of it is going to be tomorrow morning, and then it just shapes up and cools down Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday. So you know what's fun? What? Why don't we fire up the Futurecast What's It Gonna Feel Like? I'll try to find the coldest wind chill of the next few to just kind of button it up with more pain and agony for all of us.
That's all
when you're talking about
the
schools doing that calculus, so it looks like that calculus is going to point to delayed or closed.
I wonder. I mean, it's so much math goes into this because how many days do they have that they haven't used? and the safety of the buses during the worst of the storm.
I remember that exciting feeling when you'd hear the news and it'd be like, your school is closed.
Phone call, you'd be like, oh.
We'll see what happens. 5:46 right now, and let's get to Super Bowl 58, where the Kansas City Chiefs grabbed their second Super Bowl victory in an overtime thriller with the San Francisco 49ers.
Unbelievable. Way to go. 2 in a row. All right. The night also featured a high-energy halftime performance from Usher, along with Taylor Swift sightings, of course. CBS 2's Jared Hill is live in Vegas with more. Hey, Jared.
Hey. Good morning, guys. Yeah, this is a big night all around inside of Allegiant Stadium here. The Kansas City Chiefs now back-to-back Super Bowl champs, the first team to do this in about 20 years. For the third time in 5 years, the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Their Sin City showdown against the San Francisco 49ers went into overtime, with the Chiefs pulling out a 25-22 victory. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes was hailed the Super Bowl MVP for his third time.
It's not always pretty, but we just continue to fight to the very end.
Pop star Taylor Swift celebrated with her boyfriend, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. And the rest of Chiefs fans went wild.
He's kingdom all day!
For 49ers fans and players, heartbreak.
Our team's hurting, but that's how it goes when you put yourself out there. I'm real proud of our guys.
The big night wasn't just about the game. For many fans, the star-studded musical performances really stole the show. Halftime performer Usher sang, danced, and skated through nearly 30 years of hits, bringing out surprise guests Alicia Keys, Her, will.i.am, Lil Jon, and Ludacris. The night kicked off with renditions of Lift Every Voice and Sing, often called the Black National Anthem by Andra Day, America the Beautiful from Post Malone, and the powerful national anthem from Reba McEntire. In a touching moment before kickoff, Lahaina Luna High School football coaches and players from the fire-ravaged Hawaiian island of Maui were showcased as honorary captains for the Super Bowl 58 coin toss, capping a weekend celebrating the game that held their community together. All right, after the Chiefs finish celebrating and recovering here in Las Vegas, they're going to get a chance to celebrate with their fans back home with a parade on Wednesday. And they're already talking about a three-peat victory when the Super Bowl moves to New Orleans next year. Back to you.
All right, Jared Hill, thank you so much. What an exciting night. Really a long night, too.
Yeah, and you talk about a team, though. A team of death. I mean, 3 in 5 years. That's no joke. That is no joke. It's Tom Brady type stuff. Up next, hundreds of local nurses are a step closer to going on strike. We're going to tell you which hospitals could be impacted.
And it's company where you can get a job without an interview or a background check. How this bakery that's known for its brownies has helped thousands of people.
Come back and hey, look at what I say.
5:52 on your Monday morning. It's going to be a whole lot different tomorrow, and we'll see that pile come down a little bit. Let's get over to John Elliott. He's been tracking a big storm for us.
Hey, you got it. So today, though, we want to stress it's 38 right now into the afternoon. You know, we're going to see a quiet day in the upper 40s. Tuesday's the messy day, particularly this time tomorrow morning. Then it's very cold on Wednesday. So the red alert kicks in late today through Tuesday morning. That's where we're going to see rain quickly change over to snow for most. Makes it a very challenging commute tomorrow morning. Then wind will be a major menace, 30 to 40 plus mile an hour gusts. So what's that mean? That means this afternoon is going to feel like the 40s. But by Tuesday morning, it's going to feel like about 15 to 25. And then by Tuesday afternoon, it's below freezing. And then by Wednesday morning, wind chills in the city in the teens, single-digit wind chills north and west. So after today, a very cold air mass will take over, and all of that movement of the wind doesn't help the waves. That's why these coastal flood alerts, warnings, and advisories kick in today through Wednesday morning. So just pace yourself. Take advantage of the day today to prepare for a big change in the wind and the weather over the next few. Mary?
John, thank you. 5:54 right now. About 700 nurses on Long Island have delivered 10-day strike notices at Northwell Health, Long Island Jewish Valley Stream, and Peconic Bay Medical Center. Earlier this month, the New York State Nurses Association voted to authorize a strike. They notified management over the weekend that they intend to strike starting February 21st unless tentative contract agreements can be reached. In a statement, Northwell Health said in part, "We remain optimistic that an agreement can be reached and will continue to bargain in good faith."
New York could become the first city in the U.S. to ban laundry detergent pods. Councilmember James Gennaro introduced the bill last week. It would make it illegal to sell detergent pods or laundry sheets that contain polyvinyl alcohol. Supporters of the ban say the plastic packaging is bad for the environment. If approved, the ban would take effect in 2026.
5:54 right now. With Valentine's Day coming up on Wednesday, FBI is issuing a warning about Valentine's scams. The agency's New York field office says internet romance scams are on the rise. In 2022, the FBI says it handled more than 19,000 complaints with losses of almost $740 million. The agency says scammers scour social media and networking sites looking for information they can use to develop relationships with victims. They recommend you always think twice before sharing your personal information online.
To all those scammers out there, leave love alone, right?
Yeah.
Take the day off from robbing people.
Exactly.
All right, a bakery in Yonkers, they believe in second chances, and it extends to their hiring practices. Grayson Bakery was founded decades ago with the promise to hire anybody who wants to work. They bake millions of pounds of brownies every year, and they're the brownies that go in Ben & Jerry's ice cream and sell directly to consumers. CEO Joseph Kenner says they practice open hiring, and jobs are filled on a first-come, first-served basis.
If you're the next person on the list, you're hired automatically. No questions asked, no background checks, no interviews.
It makes you work even harder because they gave you that chance. And so you want to make sure you do your best.
A new documentary tells the story of Grayson's 43-year history and how it was founded by a Zen Buddhist monk. The film, narrated by Oscar winner Jeff Bridges, is called Zen Brownie.
It's a delicious brownie, I can tell you that. And that combined with the ice cream, perfect. Still ahead here at 5:56, nationwide attention in New York after ruling for migrants. Several city shelters now have a curfew. We are live in Soho with the very latest.
And winter is back in a big way after a weekend of warmer temperatures. Our first alert weather team tracking the winter storm that is headed in our direction. You're watching CBS 2 News this morning.